What if no one ever comes to save you? What then? That thought might shake you, but deep down you already know the answer. You've waited long enough. Waited for someone to see your pain. Waited for the right moment, the right mood, the right motivation. But nothing ever truly arrives, does it? The days keep passing, the wait keeps growing, and you keep telling yourself, maybe tomorrow I'll start. Yet tomorrow shows up looking exactly like yesterday. And quietly you're beginning to realize that no one's coming. Not the friend, not the mentor, not some sudden burst of energy. It's just you. That might sound harsh, but it's not meant to hurt you. It's meant to wake you up, because the truth is there's something powerful buried inside you, and you've been keeping it dormant. You're not broken, you're not lazy, you're tired of surviving in silence, you've poured into others, you've smiled when it hurt, or you've carried more than you should have, and you did it with quiet strength. But now, it's your turn. You owe it to yourself to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. You owe it to the child inside you who once believed anything was possible. You owe it to the future version of you that's silently begging you not to give up. Every minute you delay, you're feeding the cycle that keeps you stuck. Stuck in fear, stuck in regret, stuck in the habit of hoping instead of acting. You were not born to just get by. You were built for something greater. But greatness won't chase you. You must chase it. And yes, it's going to be hard. You'll have to show up on days you feel empty. You'll have to push through resistance that screams for comfort. But this is the price of becoming who you were meant to be. The discomfort is temporary. The growth is permanent. Right now, you are standing at a crossroad. One path leads to more of the same, more waiting, more second-guessing, more giving your power away. The other path is uncertain, uncomfortable, and demanding, but it's real, and it leads somewhere. It leads to self-respect, to clarity, to waking up every morning and knowing you're building something that matters. You owe it to yourself to choose that second path, not because anyone else is watching, not for applause, but because your life is not a rehearsal. It's happening now, and you get to decide whether you survive it or own it. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, being committed, being the person who finally decides enough is enough. You don't need permission. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. This is your wake-up call. Stay with this message, because by the time it ends, you will see it clearly. No one owes you more than you owe yourself. And when you finally rise for you, everything changes. You might be waiting for the perfect moment when everything feels just right, when fear disappears, confidence floods in, and doubt stops knocking on your door. But here's a truth that cuts deep. No one ever feels truly ready. Not the ones you admire, not the people you think have it all figured out. Behind every success, there's a shadow of uncertainty, a whisper of fear, a lingering question of whether they're enough. That doubt doesn't mean you should stop. It means you are standing on the edge of growth. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you are moving towards something important. Your mind may be filled with reasons why you can't start, why you should wait a little longer. These thoughts feel real, urgent even, but they are often the echo of your comfort zone trying to hold you back. This resistance is your brain's way of protecting you from the unknown. It's wired to keep you safe, to avoid risk, to stick with what's familiar. But safety is not the same as progress. And if you want something bigger, something better, you have to train your mind to be comfortable with discomfort. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You need to begin to feel ready. Action creates confidence. Movement births courage. You can't wait for a flood of certainty to appear before you step forward. Instead, you must step forward and trust that the certainty will come after. Your brain is not fixed. It is wired to change, to grow, to adapt. Every step you take rewires your thinking, building new pathways that make courage easier the next time. This is the science of transformation. You reshape your mind by what you do, not what you think. So if you feel unworthy, overwhelmed, or unsure, that's exactly the place to start. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you act despite those feelings. When you lean into fear rather than running from it, you claim power. You remind yourself that your value is not defined by how ready you feel or how perfect your plan is. Your value is inherent. You were born with it. You owe it to yourself to honor that truth by taking imperfect action every day, no matter what. Stop waiting for clarity to appear out of nowhere. Stop expecting confidence to be handed to you on a silver platter. It's forged through persistence, through rising again and again. Each time you do, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. This is how you build momentum. This is how you become unstoppable, not by waiting for fear to disappear, but by moving forward with it at your side. No one else is going to decide your readiness for you. Only you can. And right now, you are ready to choose progress over paralysis. You are ready to be imperfect and persistent. You are ready to show up for the person you want to become, not the person you feel like today. This decision, this small yet powerful choice, sets everything else in motion. Because the truth is simple, you owe it to yourself to begin. Not when you feel ready, but now. Motivation can ignite a spark, but it won't carry you through the storms ahead. The real power lies in discipline, the quiet, steady force that keeps you moving when excitement fades and the path gets tough. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who do. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's a muscle you build one small choice at a time. Every day you decide to show up, even when you don't feel like it. You are rewiring your brain. You are proving to yourself that your goals are worth the effort even when comfort screams louder than ambition. Your brain craves easy rewards. It's wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. That's why shortcuts and distractions feel so tempting. The dopamine rush from scrolling endlessly or choosing momentary comfort over growth is real and powerful. But these quick fixes only delay your progress. They trick you into believing you're okay while your dreams quietly slip away. Discipline breaks that cycle. It trains your mind to choose long-term fulfillment over short-term relief. This choice rewires the neural pathways that shape your habits, your identity, and your future. Discipline is not about punishing yourself or forcing willpower until you break. It's about becoming dependable to yourself. Imagine the strength you gain when you prove day after day that you can trust yourself to do what you say you will. That trust builds self-respect, and self-respect fuels confidence. The moment you stop betraying your own goals is the moment you begin to win. This is the identity shift that transforms effort into who you are. When discipline becomes part of your character, setbacks no longer shake you. Doubts no longer hold power over you. You simply keep moving forward because that's what you do. This process isn't instant, and it won't feel easy at first. You will face resistance. Your old habits will fight to keep their place. The difference is you learn to outlast that fight. You build endurance in your mind just like in your body. Every act of self-control is a rep. Every choice to push through discomfort strengthens your resolve. This momentum compounds quietly and relentlessly. Over time, small victories stack up into major breakthroughs. You owe it to yourself to become the person who does not quit when motivation fades. The person who keeps their word to themselves no matter how tough it gets. This is the difference between wishing for change and making change happen. Discipline is your most loyal ally on the journey to owning your life. When you build this muscle, you unlock potential you didn't know you had. Every time you resist the urge to give in, every time you choose effort over ease, you reinforce the truth that you matter, that your goals are worthy, that your dreams deserve more than excuses. You owe it to yourself to develop the strength to keep going, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hardest, because that is where transformation lives. That is where you begin to truly own your story and create a future you can be proud of. One of the most dangerous traps you can fall into is the habit of measuring yourself against others. It steals your peace and steals your progress. Comparing your journey to someone else's only breeds frustration and doubt because you're fighting a battle you were never meant to fight. Everyone's path is unique, shaped by unseen struggles, sacrifices, and timing. When you look outside yourself to gauge your worth, you hand over your power to forces beyond your control. This breaks the bond you need to build with the only person who truly matters, you. The urge to compare is natural. It's wired into us by evolution as a survival tool. But in today's world, it often works against us. Social comparison triggers feelings of inadequacy and envy, feeding a false narrative that others have it easier, are more talented, or simply luckier. But what you see on the surface is just a highlight reel, a carefully edited version of reality that hides the hard work, pain, and failures behind every success. You don't see the full picture, and yet you judge your own progress as if you do. The key to breaking free is to turn your focus inward. Your real competition is who you were yesterday, not the person you see online or in your circle. This shifts the battlefield from external validation to internal growth. When you measure your progress by how far you've come, no matter how small the steps, you reclaim control over your mindset and your future. This builds resilience, the ability to keep going even when the path feels long and lonely. Growth is personal. It's a slow, steady climb that requires patience, self-compassion, and fierce dedication. You don't need to be faster, smarter, or better than anyone else. You need to be better than your past self. Every time you resist the urge to compare, you strengthen this mindset. Every time you celebrate your own progress, you nourish it. This is how confidence is built, not through external approval, but through internal acknowledgement. You owe it to yourself to stop letting comparison steal your joy and derail your purpose. You owe it to yourself to honor your own timeline and your own unique challenges. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about creating the mental space to focus fully on your goals without distraction or self-doubt. When you break the mirror of comparison, you free up mental energy and emotional strength to push harder, dream bigger, and act with clarity. The path forward is yours alone. Walking it with your head held high means accepting that your worth isn't defined by others. It means choosing pride in your own journey, no matter how messy or slow it feels. This choice is radical. It is liberating. It is the foundation for everything you want to build. You owe it to yourself to stop measuring your life against illusions and start measuring it by the truth of your own growth. Only then will you unleash the unstoppable force inside waiting to rise. Your mind is the battlefield where your greatest victories and defeats are decided. It can be your fiercest ally or your cruelest enemy. Every thought you allow to take root shapes how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately how far you go. Many people don't realize how much power they give away to negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and fear-driven thinking. These mental patterns are like invisible chains, holding you back from the life you deserve. But the truth is, you have the power to break those chains. You owe it to yourself to reclaim control of your mind and steer it toward freedom and strength. Your brain naturally looks for threats, for problems, and for reasons to stay safe. This survival instinct once kept you alive in dangerous times. Today it often triggers doubts, worries, and fears that no longer serve you. These are called cognitive distortions, thinking errors that twist reality and amplify negativity. When you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed," or "this is too hard," your brain begins to believe it. These thoughts become a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing your doubts and draining your energy. But they are just thoughts, false stories you have the power to rewrite. Changing your mindset isn't about forcing positivity or ignoring pain. It's about awareness and choice. When you catch a negative thought, pause, question it, challenge it. Replace it with a truth that serves you instead of limits you. This mental habit rewires your brain over time, making room for courage, resilience, and clarity. Your thoughts are the lens through which you see the world. Sharpen that lens, and your reality changes. Your mind also works like a filter, focusing on what you feed it. The reticular activating system, a part of your brain, filters information based on your beliefs and expectations. If you believe you're capable, you start noticing opportunities and solutions. If you believe you're stuck, you see barriers everywhere. This is why mindset matters so deeply. What you focus on grows. You owe it to yourself to focus on growth, on possibility, on the actions that move you forward, no matter how small. You don't need a perfect mindset before you act. You need awareness and then action. Every time you choose to respond differently, to challenge a limiting thought, to breathe through fear, to focus on what's possible, you strengthen your mental muscles. This builds a foundation that can withstand setbacks, criticism, and doubt. This foundation is your shield and your springboard. Protecting your mind means guarding it like the precious resource it is. Limit what you consume: negative news, toxic relationships, self-defeating comparisons. Surround yourself with what uplifts and empowers. You owe it to yourself to cultivate inner peace and mental clarity, because the battles you face start inside. When you control your mind, you control your destiny. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to think and believe in a future you create. This is how transformation begins. Quiet, powerful, unstoppable. Carrying the weight of your past can be one of the heaviest burdens you bear. Old wounds, regrets, and mistakes often linger in your mind like shadows, draining your energy and clouding your vision. Holding on to anger, guilt, or shame doesn't punish the people or events that cause the pain, it punishes you. It traps you in a cycle of suffering that blocks your growth and steals your peace. You owe it to yourself to make peace with your past, not by forgetting it, but by freeing yourself from its grip. Only then can you step fully into your power and move forward with clarity. Forgiveness is not about excusing what happened or pretending the pain didn't matter. It's about releasing yourself from the prison of bitterness. It's a radical act of self-love and courage. When you forgive, you reclaim your energy and redirect it toward building the life you deserve. Research shows that forgiveness lowers stress, improves mental health, and strengthens relationships. It clears space in your heart and mind to focus on what truly matters, your growth, your dreams, your future. Carrying emotional baggage keeps you stuck in old stories that no longer serve you. It fuels procrastination, fear, and self-sabotage. You might find yourself repeating the same patterns because you haven't healed the root causes. But healing is possible. It begins with acknowledging your pain and giving yourself permission to feel it without judgment. Suppressing emotions only buries them deeper. Allowing yourself to process what happened breaks the chains and opens the door to transformation. You owe it to yourself to confront your past honestly and compassionately. This isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice of choosing freedom over resentment. Every time you notice anger or regret creeping in, remind yourself that your future is more important than your history. You can carry lessons without carrying the pain. You can grow stronger without staying stuck in wounds. This shift isn't easy, but it is necessary. Your past does not define you. It is part of your story, but it is not your identity. When you stop bleeding from wounds you've already healed, you step into a new level of power and peace. You stop reacting and start creating. This is where true freedom lives, the freedom to choose how you live and who you become. You owe it to yourself to release the hold your past has on your present, to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made and forgive others for theirs, to accept that pain was part of your journey, not the end of it, to embrace the possibility that your future can be brighter, clearer, and fuller than anything you've imagined. The weight you carry can be lifted. The scars you bear can heal. The story you tell yourself can change. You owe it to yourself to stop letting yesterday steal today. When you make peace with your past, you unlock the energy to build the life that honors your strength, your dreams, and your worth. This is the gift you give yourself, the gift of freedom, growth, and unstoppable forward motion. This life you're living, it's the only one you get. No rehearsals, no second chances, no do-overs. Every moment matters because every moment is a chance to decide who you are and who you want to become. The weight of that truth can feel overwhelming, but it's also the greatest gift. Awareness of your limited time fuels urgency, clarity, and meaning. You owe it to yourself to live like it matters, because it does. Your time is a currency you spend every day, and once it's gone, you cannot get it back. It's easy to get lost in distractions, to drift through days without purpose or passion. Comfort zones feel safe, but they are prisons disguised as havens. They keep you small, numb, and stuck. Living like it matters means stepping out of that haze and into full presence. It means waking up each morning with intention and going to bed with the satisfaction of knowing you gave your best. This mindset transforms ordinary days into powerful building blocks for a life worth living. Facing the reality of your mortality can ignite a fire within you, a fire that burns away excuses and fear. When you fully grasp that time is finite, everything shifts. Priorities realign. You begin to see what truly deserves your energy and what doesn't. This clarity is liberating because it frees you from chasing approval, from fearing failure, from wasting energy on things that don't serve your growth. You owe it to yourself to embrace this awareness and let it drive your actions. Living like it matters requires courage. The courage to say no to what drains you and yes to what fuels you. The courage to pursue dreams that scare you. The courage to stand tall even when the path is uncertain. This courage is not born from perfection or certainty. It is born from commitment, from a deep understanding that your life's value isn't measured by external success, but by the integrity of your choices. When you choose courage every day, you create momentum that propels you forward beyond obstacles and doubts. You owe it to yourself to make every decision count, to treat your goals as sacred promises to yourself, to refuse to settle for less than what ignites your soul. The small daily actions, the focused work, the self-care, the discipline add up. They build a legacy that lasts far beyond any momentary triumph or setback. Living like it matters means being relentless in pursuit of your potential, no matter how many times you stumble. This life is a precious gift, and how you use it is your responsibility. You have the power to shape your story with every breath, every thought, every choice. You owe it to yourself to stop waiting for the right time or the perfect conditions. You owe it to yourself to begin now, fully aware that your time is limited and your potential is limitless. When you live like it matters, you stop being a bystander in your own life and become the author of your destiny. That is the highest form of respect you can give yourself. The respect of showing up fully, fighting fiercely, and never settling for less than your greatness. The greatest commitment you can ever make is the one you make to yourself. In a world that constantly demands your time, attention, and energy, it's easy to lose sight of who you really are beneath the noise. But deep inside, there is a voice waiting to be heard. A voice that reminds you of your worth, your strength, and your purpose. That voice is your true self, and it calls you to rise. You owe it to yourself to listen, to answer that call, and to live with unshakable devotion to your own growth and freedom. Self-commitment is not a one-time decision. It is a daily choice. It means showing up for yourself when no one else does. It means holding yourself accountable to the promises you make about your dreams, your health, and your happiness. It means choosing to act even when motivation fades, even when fear whispers lies, and even when the path seems unclear. This kind of commitment creates an unbreakable foundation on which everything else is built. It is the invisible force that turns hope into reality and desire into accomplishment. When you fully commit to yourself, you send a powerful message to the world and, most importantly, to yourself, that your life matters. This commitment rewires your brain to focus on what serves your highest good. It replaces self-doubt with confidence, distraction with clarity, and hesitation with action. You begin to operate from a place of integrity, where your actions align with your deepest values and goals. This alignment fuels a momentum that no external circumstance can stop. You owe it to yourself to break free from the cycle of inconsistency and doubt that keeps you stuck. Every time you choose to honor your commitment, you build resilience against setbacks and criticism. You learn that failure is not a verdict, but a lesson. You realize that persistence is the true measure of success. This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities and challenges into growth. The more you commit to yourself, the more you expand your capacity to handle whatever life throws your way. This journey demands patience and compassion. There will be days when you stumble, when old fears resurface, and when giving up seems easier. But these moments do not define you. What defines you is the choice to get back up, to reaffirm your commitment, and to keep moving forward. You owe it to yourself to be gentle with your progress while holding fierce determination to keep going. This balance of grace and grit creates a powerful force within you. Your commitment to yourself is the root from which every other success grows. It is the promise that no matter how hard life gets, you will never stop fighting for your dreams, your peace, and your worth. You owe it to yourself to be your own strongest supporter and fiercest protector. When you honor this commitment, you unlock a well of strength, courage, and purpose that propels you beyond limits and into a life fully owned and deeply lived. This is your birthright, and it begins with one simple truth: you owe it to you.